Next-gen single-player games are redefining what story and immersion can feel like. These upcoming titles use cutting-edge tech to craft deeper characters, richer worlds, and more meaningful choices. Each game on this list aims to offer a standout solo experience worth your attention. Let's get into it.
In the grim darkness.
Total War Warhammer 40,000 is a strategy game combining turn-based galactic campaigns with large real-time battles in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Players command Space Marines, Orcs, Aldari, or Astra Militarum, each with distinct units and combat styles. Campaign play involves capturing planets, upgrading fleets, and managing resources. Battles unfold on planetary maps with infantry, vehicles, walkers, abilities, reinforcements, and destructible terrain that changes tactical positioning during prolonged engagements across multiple fronts.
Across countless worlds, battles rage. Lead your armies. Conquer worlds. Fight on as the galaxy burns. For there is no peace amongst the stars. There is only war.
Cooperative games is because I've been sort of typecast into that now.
Den of Wolves is a cooperative heist FPS where players work together as criminals for hire in Midway City, taking contracts linked to corporate conflicts. Missions involve planning approaches, gathering intel, selecting weapons and gadgets, breaching security, and completing objectives such as espionage or sabotage. Gameplay shifts between stealth and direct combat during unpredictable encounters. Sessions are designed for short or long playtimes, with teamwork, coordination, and gunplay driving success across each heist.
A specific target audience, like we're aiming at a specific type of player.
Den of Wolves is a game that's gonna try to cater to the heist fantasy, but also cater to players playing with strangers. Splitting the game into two groups, saying like, either you plan the heist,
you're in position,
or you're there to help out. We're making almost like two games at the same time, but it sort of sits in the same session. It sort of has to be its own thing. Otherwise, why does the project exist if it's not its own thing?
It's such a cliche word, immersive, but it is. You hear that all the time about when talking about games. But yeah, I guess immersive is the best way to like just bringing people in and avoiding these things that keep reminding the player that, oh, this is just a game, you know.
We take a lot of inspiration from Inception is a good example, or Matrix, where you have an alternate reality or dimensional things.
And then of course there's like deep lore, and it's a huge part of a game experience is the narrative and the atmosphere, the mix with the sound effects and the music as well. All of that informs the tone and how you perceive the game as someone who just jumps in and gets into it, you know.
develops into a sprawling city controlled by corporations, and you have to rely on crime to survive.
Everything in the game supports making it appeal to that type of a gamer.
It's hard for me to do anything else, you know. It's that.
We've got company! 32 seconds!
Let's just make games in a way, you know.
CrisisX is a multiplayer survival action game built around a large shared map where thousands of players coexist. Gameplay includes PvE and PvP combat against infected creatures, wildlife, and other survivors using melee weapons, firearms, vehicles, and heavy equipment. Players manage hunger, thirst, health, temperature, and physical condition while gathering resources. Base building allows territory control, crafting, farming, and vehicle construction, with cooperation or conflict-shaping encounters between groups across persistent online sessions.
To wilderness, to horizons, lost, maybe the way clears when we walk together, collaborate, fight, side by side. Get everything back on track. Allied. United. But people stay the same. We clash. We claim. We raid. The livings become the real crisis. And this time, what's your way out?
From those we love most of all.
Reanimal is a horror adventure game playable solo or in co-op, where players control a brother and sister trying to rescue missing friends on a hostile island. Gameplay relies on movement, environmental puzzles, timing, and cooperation to avoid creatures rather than direct combat. A shared camera shapes navigation and positioning during tense encounters. Progress happens across land and water sections, with problem solving and coordination required to survive threats and advance through connected areas.
So it is not difficult for us to picture the sort of life you are all leading. I know you won't forget us. Good night, and good luck to you all.
Exoborne is a tactical extraction shooter where players deploy into a large hostile environment shaped by extreme weather and enemy presence. Gameplay revolves around entering matches to gather resources, fight AI factions and other players, then extract safely. Customizable exo-rigs provide movement tools, combat abilities, and tactical options that interact with storms, wind, and lightning. Each run demands planning, risk management, and decisions on when to engage, retreat, or secure valuable loot.
Only the strongest can thrive. Chaos reigns. If they think this is the end of the world, Reborn, put on your Exo and prove them wrong.
Over there! We gotta move! Come on, let's go!
Neo Berlin 2087 is an action RPG played in first and third person, built around investigation, combat, and player choice. Players control a detective using weapons, gadgets, and cyber abilities while gathering clues, questioning suspects, and hacking minds to extract information. Gameplay supports shooter, stealth, and role-playing systems with character upgrades and equipment customization. Combat includes human enemies and machines, while case progress depends on observation, dialogue, and problem solving.
Feels real.
Neo Berlin, what do I really know about it? She's like you. She needs your help.
I followed every thread, reconstructed memories. None of it fits.
You think you're solving the case. This is so much bigger. What if the case is you?
The world only works with order. Without order, chaos breaks out. It's out of balance and we must restore it. Do you understand that, Nolan?
Yes.
Nolan, what have you done?
Chains of Lukomorye is a third-person action-adventure playable solo or in online co-op, built around shooter, combat, and myth-inspired abilities. Players control a WWI soldier using firearms, supernatural powers, and relics while fighting hostile creatures and bosses drawn from Slavic folklore. Combat emphasizes positioning, timing, and cooperation. Progress includes unlocking abilities through artifacts, facing escalating encounters, and navigating environments shaped by war ruins and distorted mythic forces.
You won't be needing this, my friend. Rest easy.
What's the song?
Another hell. Just like this place.
You've seen nothing yet, soldier. Best prepare.
What does that? Shit. I didn't need your help.
do?
Not yet.
Then fight.
Hela is a third-person action-adventure playable solo or in co-op, where players control a small mouse using movement, parkour, and physics-based interactions. Gameplay includes solving environmental puzzles, collecting items with a backpack, and gliding across natural spaces. Objectives involve gathering ingredients, crafting potions, and assisting characters through simple tasks. Progress relies on coordination, object manipulation, timing, and cooperation while navigating terrain inspired by Scandinavian landscapes and wildlife-driven obstacles. Breathedge 2 is a first-person survival game built around crafting, resource management, and space travel. Players gather materials, build tools, repair equipment, and maintain oxygen while surviving hazards in space and on planetary locations. Gameplay includes managing and upgrading a spaceship, piloting vehicles, and handling crew members who affect ship functions. Progress depends on balancing survival needs, crew behavior, combat encounters, and construction systems while completing objectives tied to an opposing space corporation.
Who is it, kids? The mechanic. The mechanic. Grinders buzzing, zoom, zoom. Daddy's fixing, boom, boom. His manicure is dirt under nails, a cap and stash. That's how he sails. Polite and kind, not some street maniac. Who is it, kids?
The castle has been sighted again.
Bloodstained: The Scarlet Engagement is a 2.5D action RPG built around side-scrolling combat, character growth, and map progression. Players control two characters at once, switching and coordinating attacks to handle enemies, traps, and bosses. Combat rewards learning new abilities through repeated fights, while crafting, cooking, and equipment changes support different builds. The setting spans a large Gothic region with time-of-day changes that affect encounters and routes during longer play sessions.
Horrors beyond your darkest imaginings. Beasts that defy reason. Creatures born of pure darkness. Thousand Blossom! Die! Oh, Joe!
Explosé! Un, deux, trois!
Riga Tortoise! Riga Lancris!
With me! Cross!
Reaper! Tonight, we start our mission!
So you've come, dogs of the church, right into the palm of my hand.
Welcome back to Causal Loop. Today, we want to show you a tricky endgame puzzle, including one possible solution.
Causal Loop is a puzzle adventure built around time-based problem-solving using an ecosystem. Players record actions, replay them, and interact with up to 3 past versions of themselves to activate switches, move objects, and bypass obstacles. Levels are structured as platforming challenges tied to narrative events. Progress depends on planning sequences, correcting mistakes through re-recording, and coordinating echoes precisely while navigating hostile environments shaped by looping cause and effect.
while you, as Bale Prime, are already planning your next steps. But how does all of this actually play out? Welcome to the Nexus, a late-game biome where we can find some of the game's more complex puzzles. Without giving too much away, the Nexus is less a normal location and more a junction where different realities bleed into one another. In this section of the Nexus, Bale needs to activate a special anti-gravity lift. But to do that, he needs a key, a small battery currently stuck in a socket that we can't reach physically. This socket can be triggered by a specific terminal that launches the key out of its slot. But here's the catch. Right above it are 3 force fields, one green, one red, one blue. If the key touches any of them, it gets destroyed instantly. So our job is to somehow disable those force fields so the key can reach us. Wait a sec, a charging device for keys. That'll be important later. Spread around the area are control terminals we can use to temporarily shut down the force fields. But disabling all 3 at once and firing the key over to us, that's not something we can do alone. Good thing we can quite literally rely on ourselves. Now the phase rifts come into play, which will let us create our echoes. So first, we guide an echo to the terminal that controls the red force field.
Get it together, Bale.
Good. Our echo now begins to loop through our recorded actions, which means the red force field is taken care of. Let's tackle the green force field next. We wait for the precise moment our first echo disables the red one, since all fields need to drop at the same time in the loop. Looking good so far. That only leaves the blue force field between us and our key. So we send the last echo to the blue terminal and sync our actions with the other 2 echoes.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Looks like we didn't pay attention and sent our last copy straight through an echo disintegrator. We'll need to bypass that since echoes can't go through it. Here's a terminal that can disable the disintegrator for a moment, but we only have 3 echoes available. Maybe we can have the first echo handle 2 tasks in one loop. Let's try adjusting its route. We're quite lucky the other echo wasn't depending on the one we just wiped. With the new echo, we now first disable the disintegrator, and then the red force field. With the right timing, we now should get the 3rd echo safely past the disintegrator. That worked. Let's hurry so we can reach the blue terminal in time to deactivate the last force field.
Nailed it!
Now we should be able to grab the key without any problems. All force fields are down, and the key's gonna land in a socket on our side. Though, there's one small issue. Keys lose energy rapidly when outside a socket. Once empty, they self-destruct. And they also can't be teleported.
Wait, really?
But wasn't there... Right! The charging device we saw earlier. Maybe Bale can try for a well-aimed throw.
Nice!
At least it's close. Let's quickly use the teleporter to get back down there and recharge the key before it goes all splodey on us. Alright, our key is fully charged. Now let's hurry back to the target socket so we can place it where we wanted it in the first place. There it is, our way out.
Just like I planned.
Done. The key's in the socket and the lift to the next area is now active. I wonder what's waiting for us up there. Don't worry. We won't throw puzzles like this at you right from the start. The mechanics build up step by step throughout the campaign, and will make
EverRail is a survival crafting game playable alone or in co-op for up to 4 players, built around a moving train that acts as base, transport, and life support. Players manage energy, heat, and systems while gathering resources through on-foot expeditions, glider scouting, and train travel. Crafting and upgrades expand train functions, gear. Death shifts control to another passenger, allowing continued progress across a procedural frozen environment.
Any ideas?
Oh, I think I see an abandoned bunker up ahead. Yeah, scans show plenty of metal, energy, and maybe even rations.
Braking. We stop timer starts. You guys ready? Always, Cap.
Coming in, landing.
Speed's 30, 20, 10.
There, entrance.
Watch out, get down. We're running out of time, 1 minute. Got the stuff. Battery's almost dead. Get back now.
Yes, we're on our way.
Crafted what I could. And there goes half the battery. Let's hustle before it's too late.
Crew member lost. Select a new passenger to continue your journey.
Damn it. Another man down. But who will fill the seat?
The Free Shepherd is a single-player adventure game where players control a fast-moving sheepdog guiding scattered flocks across dangerous regions. Gameplay relies on movement, herding behavior, positioning, and timing to lead sheep towards safe locations while avoiding hazards. Players read terrain, manage group flow, and react to threats that disrupt flocks. Progress reveals environmental changes and story events tied to a spreading calamity that must be addressed through careful navigation and decision-making. Resonant Q is a survival action game for 1 to 3 players located on a failing orbital ring. Each run revolves around fighting anomalies, collecting resources, and extracting before shared energy runs out. A single power system fuels weapons, life support, abilities, and scanning, forcing constant trade-offs. Loot is taken back to a ground base to craft gear, upgrade weapons, unlock characters with unique skills, and repair ring systems to access new areas. Out of Words is a cooperative puzzle platformer designed strictly for 2 players, built around communication and shared problem solving. Players control Kurt and Carla as they move through handcrafted stop-motion environments made from physical puppets and clay sets. Gameplay relies on physics-based puzzles, gravity shifts, and precise timing that require coordination between both players. Progress depends on synchronizing actions, reacting to each other's movement, and solving scenarios that cannot be completed alone.
Follow me!
Lucid Falls is built around survival, combat, and reality-shifting mechanics inside a lucid dream. Players alter gravity, space, and time to navigate distorted environments, uncover paths, and solve spatial challenges. Combat involves facing hostile creatures while managing positioning and limited resources. Progress depends on learning how rules change between areas, using environmental manipulation to avoid threats, and piecing together narrative details revealed through encounters and level design.
Wake up, wake up. The world ended long ago.
Darkcraft is a free-to-play MMORPG built around Souls-like combat and shared online play. Players control characters in a dark fantasy land, fighting enemies using stamina-based attacks, timing, and positioning. The game supports solo play, co-op, and PvP with guilds, boss hunts, and loot-driven progression. A Game Master system can trigger live events, control enemies, or appear as bosses, making encounters unpredictable and dependent on preparation and skill.
Nameless warriors die so that legends may live. Silence breaks, and he awakens.
Through hell, but paradise is just ahead.
Westlanders is a survival simulation set in a Wild West environment where players operate alone or in co-op from a customizable wagon that acts as a mobile base. Gameplay involves managing hunger, weather, and threats while gathering resources, crafting tools, and upgrading equipment. Players build settlements, recruit companions, automate production, and connect outposts into a shared network. Combat, resource management, and long-term planning drive progression across changing biomes and persistent systems.
We face the darkest depths of human nature. The wildlife. The dangerous roads. The beasts of the night. And the angry skies. We knew the West would test us, but the real question is, can this land become our home?
Brass Rain is a multiplayer military shooter set during World War II, built around crew-based combat across land, air, and sea. Players choose roles as infantry, tank crew, bomber gunner, or naval crew, with each role requiring coordination and positioning. Matches support PvP and PvE scenarios using historical weapons, vehicles, and locations. Progress includes unlocking equipment, completing structured missions, and contributing to large-scale battles shaped by teamwork and tactical decisions. Crathos Deep is a narrative adventure where players pilot a submarine beneath the Arctic ice to investigate a failed underwater research institute. Gameplay involves navigating deep-sea environments, managing submarine movement, and deploying a tethered drone to access tight spaces. The drone is used to solve physics-based challenges, scan locations, and retrieve clues. Progress depends on careful navigation, observation, and piecing together information to uncover the cause of the facility's collapse.
There were two of the bottom of the sea. Distance yourself from. If, or rather, when that happens, I must simply urge you to keep an open mind.
Anchor is a large-scale underwater survival game built around crafting, base building, and multiplayer conflict. Players gather resources, craft weapons and gear, and construct fortified bases in a persistent ocean environment. Gameplay supports solo play, co-op, and PvP, with raids, shifting alliances, and large underwater battles against players and AI. Progress depends on managing equipment, defending territory, navigating deep-sea biomes, and surviving predators while securing resources needed to endure long-term threats. HELLREAPER is an action roguelike built around fast combat, platforming, and repeated runs. Players fight waves of enemies and bosses using melee weapons, magic abilities, and movement-based attacks. Progress involves forging and upgrading weapons, unlocking relic effects, and gaining new powers between attempts. Each run tests timing, positioning, and resource use, while permanent upgrades allow gradual character growth and deeper combat options across increasingly demanding encounters. POLYARIS is a first-person survival game centered on enduring extreme Arctic conditions alone. Players move using skis and boats while managing body temperature, clothing, hunger, thirst, and weather exposure. Gameplay includes looting abandoned sites, fishing, crafting tools, and repairing equipment. Hostile wildlife and human enemies pose constant threats during travel.
And on that day, everything was taken from us.
SpaceCraft is an online space building and simulation game where players travel between star systems, planets, and stations while managing resources and logistics. Gameplay includes mining materials, crafting components, designing ships, and constructing automated planetary bases. Production chains can be optimized using drones and cargo ships to handle extraction and transport. Players trade, cooperate, and operate within shared systems, with progression driven by expansion, automation, and efficient management of interplanetary operations.
Now, together, we're discovering new horizons. Every foundation laid, every spark ignited, every connection made. build something new. Our journey led us to these stars, and from the fragments of the past, we will forge a better, brighter tomorrow.
Greenfield is a story-driven puzzle platformer where players move through a deserted island facility linked to a fractured mind. Gameplay combines careful movement, environmental puzzles, and timing-based platforming to progress through connected areas. Players interact with mechanisms, avoid hazards, and solve challenges that reveal fragments of the narrative. Progress relies on observation and problem-solving rather than combat, with locations gradually uncovering clues tied to the mystery surrounding the facility and its past.
Is a new team-based PvP game where 15 teams of 3 fight to ascend a mysterious tower.
Arkheron is a fast-paced, team-based PvP game where 3-player squads fight to climb a shifting tower through close-range combat. Instead of fixed characters, players build their roles by looting relic items that grant abilities and set bonuses. Matches revolve around fighting enemies, contesting objectives, and defeating rival teams while adapting builds in real time. Success depends on coordination, item synergies, positioning, and quick decisions during escalating encounters.
Play Arkheron, the first thing you'll notice is its isometric free aim camera, which creates Arkheron's high-stakes combat that requires skillful aiming and navigation of team fights in close quarters. Button mashing won't get you a win. Strategic moment-to-moment gameplay is your path to victory. Danger can always lurk just beyond your vision, so to stay ahead of the game, you'll need to pay close attention to Arkheron's audio cues.
I hear enemies.
In every match of Arkheron, you have the opportunity to create your own build from scratch. You'll start with only your fists to defend yourselves, while you quickly find weapons and abilities from treasure chests, quests, monster drops, and executed opponents. Items determine your playstyle for each match, not roles or character classes. After a few minutes of gearing up, you'll hear the beacon's call.
The time for ascension has begun. Claim a beacon and fight.
This means you must make your way to one of the many beacons that are now marked on the map. There aren't enough beacons for everyone, so if your beacon is contested, you'll need to take out any other teams that seek to stake their claim on it. Surrounding each beacon is the Abyssal Storm, a powerful force that destroys anything in its path. Your beacon is the safest place to hide from the storm, but this safety is an illusion, as you'll almost always be corralled into the path of another enemy team. If your team stays on the beacon uncontested for 30 seconds, you'll earn the right to ascend to the next floor. As you climb the tower, teams are eliminated, leaving the final 2 to battle it out on the top floor and determine which team will be victorious. The teams that make it here are the ones who work together, call their shots, strategize their positions, and create their builds together. Think of Arkheron like a game of deadly musical chairs with super fun items and abilities. Speaking of which, let's talk about creating your build. Your build will consist of 4 items, a crown, an amulet, and 2 weapons. Each item grants you abilities that determine your gameplay style. Whether your preference is hammers, spears, crossbows, daggers, ice, fire, slams, throws, piercing, and so on. These items, or relics as we call them, are the heroes of Arkheron. There are many items with unique abilities that you can mix and match and complement each other in a variety of ways. Some are part of a 4-item set. If you collect 2 items from a single set, you'll be granted a set bonus, a buff that offers you an advantage. You could even pick up 2 items from one set and 2 items from another to receive 2 set bonuses. If you collect all 4 items from a set, you can transform into an Eternal, which will unlock a 5th ability. However, the trade-off is that you cannot leave that form for the remainder of the match. Arkheron is all about finding the items that work for your playstyle and synergizing them with your team. There are thousands of possible item combinations, and the more times you cycle through the tower, the more possibilities you'll uncover. These cycles are a core part of Arkheron. Just as one battle is ending, another begins. In fact, some deaths are not endings at all. If your teammates survive, there are numerous comeback mechanics. You're not out until your team's out, so don't requeue until it's over. If you're genuinely out, just requeue with your team or find new and worthy allies to start the cycle anew. Once again, the tower falls. What you take and what you leave behind will shape your fate. Arkheron is currently in alpha, which means we're still finishing up a few things. So you may see some work-in-progress content and things we're still experimenting with. During the alpha playtests, we're inviting you to join our community and try to break our game by helping us find the edge cases while we work towards launching on PC and console next year. If you want to find out more about how to jump in, check out the link in the description. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you in the tower.
The Parasites is an open-world survival horror game where a lone survivor lives after a meteor impact and coexists with a parasite. Gameplay involves gathering resources, building shelters, crafting tools and weapons, and fighting infected creatures. A character skill system supports upgrades gained through combat. Environmental hazards like radiation, climate, and darkness affect health and sanity. Survival depends on managing food, clothing damage, traps, and equipment while attempting to escape a repeating disaster loop.
This is how our city died.
All Will Fall physics-based survival city builder is a strategy simulation where players construct a vertical settlement on water using a physics-driven building system. Every structure requires proper support, as poorly balanced designs can collapse. Gameplay involves managing survivors, assigning roles, gathering resources at sea, and expanding the city upward. Players balance construction risks with colony needs, handle faction demands, and make hard decisions that affect stability, productivity, and long-term survival.
We explored the land and the ocean, and welcomed newcomers into our walls. But as the city grew, so did our leader's power, and his heart slowly turned to stone. He became reckless, cruel, and greedy, hoarding food for the chosen few, and demanding to build more and more despite all the dangers. And when the storm came, everyone paid the price. His decisions led to a catastrophe. But we will rebuild. We survived worse. Now, it's your turn to lead us. Will you be a savior or a tyrant? Bring prosperity to the last bastion of humanity, or else